Welcome back. 1-1 then at Goodison, but that does not tell the story of the game. Everton left so frustrated by the goal right at the death, disallowed after consultation with VAR. These two are disagreeing, so let's go to the former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher in the match centre. We thought it might be a day where we wouldn't have to speak to you, Dermot. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but good to see you. So, is that the right call?
I think so. I think when you see the angle from behind the goal, Steve, he's clearly in his line of vision. Also, as the ball travels in, he pulls his foot away. So I think them things taken into account, John Moss is absolutely right to disallow it.
Dermot, I mean, I know you've said line of vision there. I'm pretty certain that De Gea at all points can see the ball. Why would you just? I mean, for one, he's lying on the floor, and the other is he's 6'4". So I mean, surely he can see the ball. How can you sort of say it's line of vision?
Well, I think that's how the law's set up, Michael. You know, if you're directly in the line of vision, this is a great angle. You see there, I think he's directly in De Gea's line of vision. You see De Gea trying to go for the ball. It comes past Sigurdsson. He takes his leg away and think, that's the angle that John Moss would go on, and I think that's the angle that proves conclusively that he's right.
Dermot, I'm claiming that and
what about this? As soon as you come on the pitch, I guess as a manager, you're running a risk, are you?
Oh, Steve, you run a risk anyhow coming on because you're obviously upset, you know that. He's obviously said something untoward, and Chris has taken umbrage and red carded him. You know, it's just a follow-on from the goal, isn't it? He's upset. He'd probably regret it as soon as he gets back to the changing room, but unfortunately it's too late.
The referee. Is that what you say? Or Ancelotti?
Ancelotti. I think he'll regret it.
Do you not think the referee should be a little bit stronger there and have a bit more understanding about, you know, what's just happened and just let it go?
I think the difficulty is, Peter, that we don't know what he said. You know, he could have said anything. He's obviously said something that's really upset Cal, because in them situations, I think referees, you know, myself included, we always take a little bit more stick than we should do. So to react like that, he has gone a step too far.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw the goal, I must admit, I thought, you know, the goal would have been a goal regardless of whether Richarlison was lying on the floor or not. So that's why I'm probably angling towards there was no interfering. So that's why I was probably thinking. Don Hutchison as well in commentary thought the same thing. But I do take your point, Dermot, and as you say, this is the main one. I think moving your legs away, because then that is sort of, you know, you're active. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe the vision, I'm still a bit debatable on.
Well, I think when you look at it, Michael, I think most people would err towards offside there. That for me, this angle is the one that convinced me. When I first saw it, I called offside. When I see that, I'm convinced he's right.
Problem with these goal scorers, you see, they just can't accept goals being taken off them, Dermot. It's an old habit that dies hard. But thank you very much indeed for clearing that up for us.
No problem.
Ollie, how would you describe that game from a Manchester United point of view? Brendan, what happened at the start and right at the end?
Game of two halves, as you'd say. First half, I thought we were excellent. After a very strange start. You shouldn't be 1-0 down after that. But then that happens, but the reaction was great. Thought we played some fantastic football, and got to half-time. We should have been leading at half-time, but second half they threw everything at us. But still, we could have won it with a chance just before they had their chance. So, but we defended well second half. Defended all what they threw at us in the box, and so pleased with the point.
What did David De Gea say to you at half-time about the goal? And also, what did Carlo Ancelotti say? Because we saw him come across to you on the touchline.
That's just football. That's sometimes it just does something to you. It's crazy sometimes, football. But David, of course, he's too slow there, so he knows that. But that's Dominic Calvert-Lewin for you. He chases everything. He chases paper on a windy day. So he deserved the goal for how he's playing.
Did Bruno Fernandes deserve a goal for his overall performance today?
It was a good goal. First time passed by Nemanja in our press. Of course, there's a missed pass by them, but Bruno's striking the ball from outside the box. He did have a few strikes, so the goal was good. I think he's always trying to create something, score goals or create chances. So sometimes he misses, sometimes he scores.
Also, what about the part that David De Gea played in the goal that eventually was disallowed?
Fantastic save. What a great save. That he makes amends there for the down to his right, and then he tells us he gets distracted by the boy in front of him, so Well, I don't know what the rules are saying there.
Carlo Ancelotti was incensed the goal wasn't given. Would you have been equally so if it was given?
I don't think so. I'd have to accept it because they probably know the rules. But David says he was distracted, so that's probably enough to. Even though the reaction, he might not have saved it anyway if he wasn't there. So, well, one each. I think that's what both teams deserved. We had the first half, they had the second half.
And in the context of the table, what sort of result is a point?
Well, we can't think about the table too much. We just have to think one game at a time. And today it gives us one more point on the board, and in a difficult away game that we know all about.
Still in fifth and 3 points behind Chelsea. So in the bigger picture, it might be a crucial point.
Well, I like that answer there. That we can't look at the table. We have to take.
Well,
one
we can,
game.
and we're looking at it.
We can,
No,
but he can't.
No.
And I think that's right. I think it's right not to put it out there that we're chasing Champions League or that he's setting targets that might just be unrealistic. That he's saying we take it game by game. He said his grand plan is to play a younger team and get a younger team ready for next season. And he's doing that. He's getting players at 18, 19 and 20 years of age. He's giving them game time, so they will be ready and have that kind of experience. And then we have to see, obviously, what happens in the summer. Of course, he wants to be in the Champions League, but I don't think he can go in an interview and say that, because it is a big call. There's a lot of teams there.
And, apart from the end, it was a dramatic game all in all, really, wasn't it?
It's a fantastic game of football, really a fantastic game of football. And we saw literally everything. We got that red card right at the end there, so we did see everything. We saw mistakes by the goalkeeper. We saw incredible saves by the goalkeeper. We saw some very big performance. Calvert-Lewin played fantastic. Fernandes played fantastic. And then, of course, we had a small bit of controversy. We should have maybe I had a red card in the first half. We didn't have that. And then this dramatic end, which we are going to talk about.
Let's go back to the beginning, though, with that error from David De Gea. Have you come to any conclusion as to perhaps what was going through his mind yet?
No, but I just think that I mean, this is right at the beginning of the game. He thinks he's got more time. Calvert-Lewin is actually quite a bit away from him when he kicks the ball. He does have options. I think he should just pass it back to the Maguire now. And then you start again. But it's the beginning of the game. Let's get everybody a little bit of touch. You could even give it to Lindelof there. He's got Matic is always available, also available there. He doesn't do that. I just think it's one of them. He doesn't realise how close he gets, and then you can't redo that. And I said at half-time, lack of concentration. I like what Lindelof just did there. Picked the ball up, gave him a little nudge, so he's got plenty of time.
Michael, we also said at half-time it wasn't his first. Since the start of last season, 7 errors that have led to goals, which is joint most in the Premier League.
Yeah, joint most in the Premier League, and that's not a great start. I know, Peter, you thought that was a bit harsh with the ball moving a bit, but I don't think there's any doubt with a lot of these. He did redeem himself in the last few minutes with a great save off his foot, but when you just look at some of these, it's unlike him. But I say it's unlike him. It's been happening quite consistently over the last year or so. I'm a big fan of David De Gea. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. But for me, this is the worst one. This is almost unforgivable, this one.
Yeah, I mean, for top clubs, the way to win the championships and to finish and do the work is not to give anything away easily. You don't do that. So that means you take your chances when you get them. So you win the 1-0s in the difficult games, but you keep the clean sheets. You don't give any goals away. If you're conceding goals, teams, they have to work really, really hard to get those goals, and you don't give them away. And you can argue that we saw that graphics there. So 7 games, it's 7 mistakes that led to loss of points. That's too many, even over the course of a season and a half, or maybe a little bit more than that. That is too much for a top club. And that is something that David De Gea needs to get out of his game. He needs possibly better concentration. And then you can open the question up, what's happened to him since this has started. And that is a really, really big sort of discussion. You know, I think disappointment not getting to Real Madrid at the time, kind of feeling that he's caught up here, rebuilding the team, insecurity in defence. There's a lot of things going on. But I think that with his experience, I think that he should be the one that was, you know, calming everything down, making sure that every ball, every little easy thing was dealt with. But it's in certain situations it hasn't happened, and that, you know, being called one of the best goalkeepers in the world, then people start to focus on that. And we know that once something is pinpointed on your performances, then you start to think about it. And if it happens again, you kind of start to believe that you have a problem. And that might be why we see David De Gea in these kind of situations.
Mentally, though.
Of influence, where he just, almost every save he makes, he's coming out and he's running, he's screaming and he's doing all these things, but it looks like it's all out of control. And his goalkeeping sort of mirrors that, mirrors his attitude. And Peter referred to it before the game in terms of he makes erratic decisions. So I just want to see him a little bit calmer. My goalkeeper, if he was going to be my goalkeeper, I'd want to be, you know, seeing him in a much calmer state than he always is.
Yeah, you would rather have him conceding that, you know, so that's a goal, and not making this incredible, fantastic save, but then trusting him in everything else that he does, you know, the easy shots. So for instance, when Bruno Fernandes hits the ball, you know, as a defender, you know, that's fine because I've got a goalkeeper there. What you don't want to is because what we do is we have deals with or agreements with our defenders. If this happens or that, you know, you push him out to there, then I'll deal with the angle, I close it down or whatever. But if you don't then do your bit of it, so saving the ball, then they start to lose confidence in you. And that means that every time something happens, they are in doubt. Am I going to do this, which is probably the best for the team, or am I going to charge out and you know, close him down because so you kind of get caught in between two minds where you, as a defender, you would just want to do what you have to do because you know every other guy in that back four line or the goalkeeper or the guy right in front of you is doing his job. And that's how you keep clean sheets. That's how you build results, is by having that kind of trust. Then when you get further up the pitch, you got you know, the Fernandes, the Martials, the Owens, all these that can take little chances and do different things in order to create a chance to score goals. But you can't do that at the back. You have to have that trust. And it's very clear that the back four of Everton doesn't have that. They always look back. And that is a problem.
Fascinating.